Quite fancy, isn't it? This casino is filled with delicacy and detail. I wonder how much time they spent on this.
Alright everybody, place your bets. Choose which one of these two fine gentlemen you bet to be the winner of this rap battle.
Oh, we get to see a live performance? This should be entertaining. Oh dear God. Mr. Blackjack, another original character. Out of the many OC mods, this Black Devil manages to stand out, pushing an aspect that I was surprised to see. Blackjack is a well-written character, and the fact that I am saying that is pretty sad. There are two sides to a mod's concept, the writing outside of the songs and the writing within them. The writing outside includes anything that does not come from the songs themselves. Typically, this is conveyed through cutscenes and dialogue, which is the big thing for Blackjack. The amount of dialogue written to express this man is far more than most FNF mods. Roughly half of them don't even have dialogue or cutscenes. Not necessarily a bad thing, but if done effectively, it can be a worthwhile inclusion. The writing can even be as simple as the way you navigate a menu. The main menu for Secret Histories is controlled using the mouse rather than the keyboard. It supports the investigation that defines the mod. The shape of Blackjack's main menu fits the casino aesthetic. It enhances the immersion for being such a small thing. Once we go into the songs, the writing comes from the story that is conveyed through the art, the music, and the gameplay. Out of my 4 grading categories, I get that concept would be treated as the least important, but at the end of the day, all of these elements have to work together to create a finished piece. You should not skimp out on time for any of them. If I'm not spotting charting errors, I am experiencing the song's story. Take, for example, Find Me. This recreates the feeling of the original story with its own unique spin. The song has an incredible story. On the other end is Wasania. The scenery is clearly saying something, but I cannot feel a story in the song. So, how well did Blackjack do with this? Well, the mod has an enticing presentation, annoying but slightly addictive gameplay, and aesthetics that I can best describe as alright. Wow, the devs actually managed to make the mod feel like a slot machine. Jokes aside, the first thing that will come to mind when thinking about this mod is the art, which is not a good thing. This is a rhythm game. If there is an aspect that is more recognizable than the soundtrack, then that sounds like a problem. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's take a close look at everything the mod has to offer, starting with the main story. Boyfriend and girlfriend are on a hot streak at Robro's casino, which catches the attention of a fellow casino owner, Blackjack. He asks to duel Boyfriend, and if Boyfriend wins, he will receive all the gold Blackjack has back at his casino. Boyfriend gets to choose the game they play, in which he obviously chooses a rap battle, but Blackjack sees no issues with that. The duel begins, and it is time to place your bets. You really get to see how polished the art is.
Filled with diamonds and wine, glitz and glamour.
Thank you, Blackjack. Just look around. Everything, even Blackjack's note skin, has so much care and detail. There is so much eye candy, yet the one thing that caught my eyes was my health. Lovely. Health drain has become a common occurrence in FNF mods, but most of them do not have good reasons to justify its presence. This mod included. Well, if the player can push the opponent, why can't the opponent push the player? There is already an established balance. The opponent cannot miss. The opponent cannot lose. Putting that aside, I don't see it as much of a problem as long as it is fair, and I can at least give it that. Now, before I discuss the song, I need to admit something. If you have watched any of my previous analyses, then you will know that my descriptions of the soundtracks have been rather simplistic. Genuine Sucker is a positive, head-bopping tune. Perish is a welcoming song that is calm and uplifting. Damnation is the dark, hopeless feeling that comes from purgatory. I am not well versed in music, which is ironic since my channel is centered around a rhythm game, so take my descriptions with a grain of salt. Place Your Bets is a playful tune with a dark tone to create a confrontational beat. I wish I could give it a more thorough description. Blackjack's voice is deep, intimidating, and not so pleasant. It reminds me of Antipathy Hank, and much like his voice, it has a great rhythm and fits with the music. It seems like Blackjack has some rapping skills. How about a gamble with a short and sweet song? This rock song lays heavy on the guitar to create a high energy beat, but what really pushes it is when it hits the lights. This is raising the atmosphere, from the color usage to the subtlety of Blackjack's health drain being stronger than the health you can gain. I would say Gamble is objectively the best song. Blackjack is confident from his history as a rapper, but if a curveball was not enough, what other tricks does he have up his sleeves?
3, 2, 1, go!
Wait, 5.5 minutes? Yeah, this is where the mod starts to go downhill. This is probably my favorite song in the mod. The dramatic rock music and the strong vocals create a great rhythm, but it clearly overstays its welcome. Right about here is where it should have ended. Stop the vocals, send off the music, and the song would have been perfect. But we just keep moving along and... oh, it's the spotlight aesthetic again. It should have been a one-time thing, but I guess it still works. An ambush couldn't keep us down, and Blackjack is starting to get annoyed. This could be a problem.
I like seeing him angry. It's cute.
Can you be strange at a later time, please?
Elimination picks up the pace with a 230 BPM techno beat. The vocals move so fast, they don't sound like clear vocals. They become noise at that point. And I am not blaming it on the BPM. Dark Secrets has a great rhythm with a 250 BPM, and Knockout has a great use of high density notes. The vocals here do not have enough weight to them, and the consistent high density makes them feel like they blend in with the instrumental. There is also a third use of the spotlight. I would say this is the best use of it, but now it has lost its charm. The chart is quite tough, but it is surprisingly fun. I played through these songs multiple times, and the biggest thing that kept me engaged was the chart. Even with this sudden spike in difficulty, trust me, the gap between ambush and elimination is quite a margin. The chart is enjoyable. After conquering such a hurdle, Blackjack is running out of options, but he has one last bet he can make. After a nice bit of lore to explain his design, Blackjack takes his mask off, losing his mentality to put Boyfriend in his place. I would have hoped for some evil laughter before the scream, but this is fine. It is time to fulfill the deal with the devil, but this finale was a disappointment. The destruction is beautiful, and the violent shaking of the health bar is a nice touch, but that is where its good points end. The strange dubstep tune is both energetic and unnerving, but it does not fit the situation, nor does it work with the other songs. Blackjack's his screeches do not help, and the chart is easier than ambush. Halfway through, the music suddenly drops the tension, shifting to a calm, classical beat. The art is gorgeous, but there is one small issue. Why is Boyfriend acting defeated? He may be an idiot, but he is stubborn. He is not one to back down from a threat. Boyfriend even mentions that he has dealt with worse. The mod acknowledges that Boyfriend has battled bigger threats. Anyway, when the tension returns, we get some nice strumline movement, but the real show is the health drain. Blackjack pushes you to the edge of the screen, and this is where the chart wants to be difficult. I would have said this earlier, but with this, I am certain that the health drain is a gimmick for this mod. I bet this is the reason health drain is even in the mod, but it would have been better for this to be the only use of it, just like Tabby did with Genocide. If it is here just to add difficulty, there are better ways to have gone about that. The casino is nearing the brink of destruction, so let's just move on.
Your time is up, Boyfriend, and a deal. You lost.
I'm sorry, what? This genuinely confused me at first. I thought the calm part was a sign of hope, a shining light in the darkness. It honestly should be that given the sound of the music, but the devs likely wrote it this way to make Blackjack's change of heart more impactful. He supposedly could have wiped the floor with Boyfriend, but it had been so long since Blackjack had such a good rap battle. He wanted to enjoy the thrill. After some convincing by his subordinates, Blackjack decides to let Boyfriend go, before taking his own leave. And now it's time for another poor writing choice. So this story has multiple endings, which is pretty neat to see, but do you know what determines these endings? The initial difficulty. Hard is the intended difficulty, so it gives the good ending. Difficulties below hard give the bad ending, sealing the fates of boyfriend and girlfriend. Then there is cursed, a difficulty above hard. It gives the best ending, which is technically fake because it plays the same dialogue as the good ending. Blackjack alludes to the bad ending before the final song, so the mod could have determined the ending just from your performance in Deal with the Devil. It would make it more accessible to lower skill players. Whatever, it is more effort than I normally see with writing, so I could still appreciate the idea. And with that, the main story is complete. The difficulty curve is nice and steady, up until elimination. Seriously, this song just gives no fucks about balance. It has the same chart for hard and below, making the spike even sharper for normal and easy. This has to be a mistake. You cannot go from this to this. The curve for cursed is different, but not exactly for the better. Being above hard, it does the obvious thing of infusing jumps and hands into the patterns. A bit excessive if you ask me. But once the note density gets high enough, the patterns become easier to balance out the jumps. The charters must have thought it was getting too difficult. But for fuck's sake, if you used them sparingly, you could have kept the same patterns. These changes make elimination easier on cursed than on hard. Deal with the Devil does not get that treatment, so the final stretch became a bit intolerable. It is not completely unfair. Despite how close you are to the edge, you are not actually at death's door. You do have a little leeway, so it could have been worse. Now, if it ended here, it would have been for the better, but sadly there's more. The second week consists of music from the demo, but I have seen enough of these visuals. Let's change it up.
3, 2, 1, go!
I think it is pretty clear that art has always been a big focus. So what does this mean for the music? Well, I can best describe the songs as gothic. Eerie, ominous, dark, dramatic. Words that can also describe Blackjack's design. His new one, that is. The new Blackjack is a major improvement from the demo, and the poses being focused more on confidence rather than authority fits his character better. The vocals are okay, but Blackjack's not-so-pleasant voice is worse here. The charts are alright, aside from the rough usage of mini jackhammers in Ante Up, a song that was not even in the demo. Do not ask me why. On the other hand, the demo had a new tutorial song that is not in the full release. Blackjack would be the guide instead of Girlfriend, which is such a simple thing, but it was charming. The demo also had Blackjack say something when you died. Another simple yet charming inclusion. Quite a shame it did not return. We still aren't done though. 2 songs were unlocked from the good and best endings. Busted is a remix of a song from Sam the Sly, who is actually one of the singers. The music feels like a high-speed Summer California beat. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but the vocals have a few problems that I do not need to describe. Just listen. If you could make them out, you heard a wall of noise. It does not start out that way, but that is one of only 2 patterns that these vocals have. Since it is a cover with a new instrumental, I cannot blame this mod for the vocal pattern. Which reminds me. Yeah, I forgot about that when grading this song, so here is the new score. The other song is epic. Yes, that is the name of the song, and it is probably the best description for it. I don't even need to explain it any further. That wraps up all the songs in the mod, but I can't shake this feeling that I'm forgetting something. Oh, not again. You won't ever leave me alone, will you? Well, with all things considered, here are my scores. Versus Blackjack is a well-thought-out idea, but it underperformed in the more crucial aspects. I mean, when the menu and cutscene music are arguably better than some of the actual songs, I think the songs are lacking. And I am not the only person thinking like this. I found that the lead composer attempted to argue with an individual who did not like the soundtrack, which is not a good look, mind you. If you want my opinion, I was not much of a fan of Elimination, Deal with the Devil, and all of Week 2 because the songs felt underwhelming. I cannot say they are bad, but when you consider how well made the art is, it seems like the soundtrack did not get enough attention. The songs are the main source of direction. The art, the atmosphere, the gameplay, and so on. The song is what influences them. That is the one thing I can agree on with the commenter. If the music is bad, then no matter how good the other aspects are, the mod as a whole suffers. Thank you for watching through to the end. It has been a while since my last analysis. I guess I needed a break to collect my thoughts and reconsider how I could make my next video unique. As much as I can find unique points to discuss, I started to get repetitive in my process, so I tried my best to be different with this one. I felt like I got to express myself a lot more, which should be for the better. Let me know if you like this form of discussion. Like, comment, subscribe, anything helps, and it tells me that you want to see more of this. As always, feel free to share your thoughts on the mod in the comments below. Until next time.